We all basically live in our inboxes, right? And we've all gotten pretty good at spotting those, clumsy scams. But what if the threat has evolved so much that the old rules just don't apply anymore? Today, we're going to dig into how attackers are targeting our minds, not just our machines, and, most importantly, how we can actually fight back.
So for all the talk about, complex malware and these super sophisticated system breaches, the main way attackers get in, it isn't through some brilliant piece of software hacking.
Nope. It's through something way more familiar. A message that's just designed to trick you. And believe me, the game has changed dramatically.
Okay, get ready for this number. 1,200%. That's the surge, the explosion in AI-driven phishing campaigns since generative AI became so common. So you can forget about those old typo-filled scams. Today's attacks, they're personalized. They're perfectly written, and they are dangerously convincing. And that is why we need to completely rethink our defenses. And honestly, we need to do it right now.
All right, so this brings us right to the heart of the problem. You see, attackers have realized that the weakest link in any security chain, well, it isn't the technology, it's us. It's human psychology.
Just let that sink in for a second. Over half of all successful data breaches start with a simple phishing attempt. This isn't some side issue, This is the main highway criminals are using to get in the door. And the weapon they use? It's called social engineering. Basically, instead of trying to bust down a digital wall, they just trick someone into opening the gate for them. It's brilliant, really. They exploit our most predictable human tendencies. That deep-seated desire to be helpful, our fear of getting in trouble with authority, or even just our simple curiosity about a package we don't remember ordering.
So, how do these attacks actually work? How do they unfold? Well, it's not random at all. In fact, most of them follow a surprisingly predictable playbook.
And that playbook is a framework called the cyber kill chain. It's a 7-step process that takes an attacker from their initial research all the way to their final goal.
Let's walk through it step by step. It all starts with reconnaissance. Think of it as digital stalking. Attackers are silently studying your public profiles on LinkedIn or your company website. Then, they use that data to weaponize a custom trap. Maybe it's a fake invoice that seems totally legit because it references a real project, or an urgent request from what looks like the cloned email address of your actual boss. Okay, next up is delivery. That customized trap lands right in your inbox. And this is the moment of exploitation. This is where the attacker's psychological games pay off, tricking you into taking that one small but absolutely critical action. Clicking the link, scanning that QR code, or typing in your password.
And once you do that, the technical compromise begins. Malware gets installed on your device, or your login details are stolen. And just like that, the attacker has a foothold inside your network. They now have command and control, just sitting there, waiting for their next instruction.
And finally, step 7. The attacker achieves their objectives. Money gets wired out, files are encrypted and held for ransom, company secrets are stolen, the whole thing, the entire breach, all because of one successful psychological trick.
But, and this is the good news, if the attacker's playbook is predictable, it means it can also be countered. The solution is to start thinking like an attacker.
And this is where the white hat or ethical hacker comes in. These are the good guys. They are security pros who get paid by companies to find vulnerabilities, including the human ones, so they can be fixed before a real attacker finds them.
Inside a company, this often plays out like a game. Red team versus blue team. The red team acts as the ethical attackers, launching these simulated phishing campaigns. The blue team? They're the defenders, responsible for spotting and responding to the attack. And it's this constant back and forth, this sparring match, that builds a truly tough defense. The red team exposes the cracks, and the blue team seals them up, making the whole organization stronger.
Okay, so this brings us to the most critical part of modern defense, turning employees from a vulnerability into a proactive security asset. You're not just a target, you're part of what we call the Human Firewall.
Today's best training programs, they go way beyond some boring once-a-year video. They use these really sophisticated simulation platforms to send safe, fake phishing emails to employees. And it's not just email anymore. They're simulating all the modern threats, things like AI-generated deepfake calls, malicious text messages, that's called smishing, and even fraudulent voice calls, or vishing.
And the market for these tools is pretty diverse. You've got these advanced platforms like Adaptive Security that are really focused on simulating those cutting-edge AI attacks. Then you have the big established players like KnowBe4, who have these massive content libraries for general awareness. And hey, for teams with the technical chops, there are even free open-source options like GoFish that give you incredible flexibility.
But how do you actually know if any of this training is working? Well, that requires a huge shift in what we decide to measure.
For years and years, security teams measured what we now call vanity metrics. Things like training completion rates. Did everyone watch the video? Check. But that just proves you did an activity. It doesn't prove an outcome. So here's the crucial shift. Instead of just tracking who failed the simulation by clicking the link, the most important metric becomes who reported the threat.
Now, notice something really important here. The goal isn't a 0% click rate. That's unrealistic. The goal is a high reporting rate. A strong security culture is one that empowers employees to be the first line of defense. So really mature programs are aiming for a 70% or higher reporting rate on these simulations. You're basically turning your entire workforce into a giant human sensor network.
And this leads to what might be the most important metric of all, reducing dwell time. What's that? It's the time from when a malicious email lands in an inbox to when it's first reported to the security team. Effective training can shrink this window from hours, giving an attacker tons of time to do damage, down to just minutes. And that allows the security team to jump in and contain the threat before it can spread.
So I guess this is the question we should all be asking ourselves, or our companies. Is your security training just a checkbox you tick for compliance, or is it a real, active shield that can recognize and repel the incredibly sophisticated social engineering attacks we're facing today? Because honestly, the difference between the two, well, it could be everything.